Hello, everyone, and I'm so thrilled to introduce our collegiate panel. I'm going to introduce everyone by name and school and then give them an opportunity to talk a little bit about their current studies, maybe any internship or co-op experience that each of you have had. So, Erin, I'm going to start with you. Erin Atkinson from Oakland University.
Hello, my name is Erin Atkinson. As we said, I'm a senior at Oakland University. I'm studying mechanical engineering. Currently, I have a co-op at Molex, which is a company that makes interconnects. As for an extracurricular, I work on Formula SAE at Oakland University, and I'm one of the electrical leads for the team.
Awesome. Thank you, Erin. Sarah from Schoolcraft College.
Hi, good morning. Like Cheryl said, my name is Sarah. I am a senior at Schoolcraft College. I'm getting an associate's in electronics technology. So I started taking classes like 10 years ago. So getting back into school and being able to finish this is really important for me. So I actually just got a job I just accepted a position at an end of the line testing facility. So it's a really exciting time for me. Yeah, thank you so much. I'm really excited for it. So yeah, that's me.
Excellent, excellent. Well, a big congratulations. That is super, super exciting. Oh my goodness.
Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Emma Munro from Michigan State University. How about you?
Hi, my name's Emma. I'm a junior in mechanical engineering at Michigan State, and I've been involved in an internship at Aptiv, which is an automotive supplier, and then I'm looking forward to another internship with Hemlock Semiconductor, who works in semiconductor manufacturing.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. I love community colleges. When I look back at my college career, I think I went to five different colleges and universities. So I started off at Oakland Community College, and then went to Henry Ford Community College during my apprenticeship. Didn't spend any time at Oakland University, but also U of D Mercy, Ferris State, oh my goodness, Siena Heights University. And then I did get my MBA from Michigan State. So you're making me think about my studies, and I haven't thought about that in a long time. Oh my goodness. I'd love to know from each of you what inspired you to choose a STEM field as your major in college and as your career path. And Erin, if we could start with you, that'd be great.
Yeah, of course. So I knew from I think about third grade that I wanted to go into STEM for
Third
Christmas that
grade?
year. Third grade, my
Wow.
parents had gotten me a book on the periodic table of elements, and I think within a month I had read it just cover to cover. It was fascinating. I didn't always think I was going to go into engineering. At first, I was a physics major, but after looking through the job market for physicists, I thought, okay, I think I want something a bit more applicable. So then I switched to mechanical engineering, and I've been incredibly happy with it.
Thank you. Emma, how about you?
So I didn't know quite as early as third grade, but I've always been interested in learning in general, and I enjoyed science and math, but I also enjoyed other fields. So I didn't know that I was going to be an engineer. Even through the senior year of high school, I was still kind of waffling back and forth. What am I going to do? But then when I started researching colleges and got accepted to Michigan State, I looked at the website and kind of explored some of the career paths and some of the courses you could take. And I thought, hey, mechanical engineering, that kind of resonates with me. And as I've taken more courses and through my internships, I'm definitely happy with my choice. I'm more and more intrigued every day with engineering. So I'm glad I chose that, but I didn't know from the start.
Yes, so we're all different. No one's the same. How about you, Sarah?
Yeah, so I actually wasn't sure what I wanted to do even when I started going to school. So my plan was to get all of my basics out of the way so that way they could transfer easily depending on whatever I wanted to do. So that's when I was doing my basics, I was choosing what I wanted to do, and I decided that STEM had a lot of job security in it. So when I went back to school, I decided that I wanted to finish what I had started. So I still got the same degree, but I do like having gone through the classes. I really like mechanical engineering, and if I were to go for anything else, then that would be like a very, very close second.
Yes. So there's no one way, and you can pause and jump back in. And just thinking about, each of your degrees, there's so many things that are open to you. The field of automotive, the field of mobility, it just continues to expand. Um, and, just hearing each of you reflect on how you got started in this field just makes me feel like we're in good hands. The future is in good hands. So I want to talk a little bit about gender balance in the classroom and in STEM in general. We just did a study that was released last year. And one of the things we looked at is degrees. We looked at the number of bachelor degrees that were being obtained by gender, race, and ethnicity. And then we also looked at STEM degrees. And so, comparing from 2002 all the way to 2021, we've had a pretty good increase. It went from 32% of females participating in this field to 35%. So I'd love to know from each of you, what does the gender balance look like in your coursework? And then what is the support you get from other female students? What does that look like? Erin, I'm going to start with you on this one.
Yeah, so I think in most of my classes, it's been like a 60-40 split, 60% males, 40% females.
Wow.
And I think even then, the bonds between the female students are very strong. I'd say I'm lucky enough to never really had to deal with the quote unquote like mean girl. I think we're all very supportive. You get compliments whether or not you do good on a test, or if a girl is just like, "Oh, I love your outfit today." I think it's just a great community. The support I get from my female students is great, but I think the support I get from female faculty is even better, and it's incredibly valuable.
Ooh, I didn't think about the female faculty. That's so good.
Mhm.
In my career, I did not see many women when I first started off, and then when I did, they necessarily weren't very supportive. And I'm not sure if it's they had so much on their plate, they just didn't have the bandwidth to
Mhm.
be supportive, or what it was. But I saw that start to shift in about 2011, and I'm just so glad to hear that's happening in the classroom as well.
Mhm.
Sarah, how about you? Did you and you mentioned you had a break. I'd be curious to know, when you were in college before, did you see any change, to what you're experiencing now?
Yeah, actually, that was one of the one things that I was going to mention. When I went to school the first time, I was the only female in the entire class
Wow.
for like a few years. So having females in the classroom this go around it's a really nice thing to see, and there is definitely a sense of camaraderie with all the students, and especially the female students.
Yeah. Sometimes we don't realize that we're lonely or feel isolated until other females start to come along. Did you find that to be the case with you?
Yeah, yeah, actually, I would agree with that completely. It's
Yeah.
really nice having just companions. Even now, you still have their phone numbers. You can still look back with them and stuff like that. It's nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Emma, what's your experience been like?
I'd say my experience is more like Erin's, where it's 60-40 or 70-30, I'd say split between men and women. But I've found that it is very easy if you just put yourself out there to form a close-knit group of women to support each other in your classes. And you'll find them coming back for pretty much every class you'll be in. You'll find the same faces. And going along with what Erin said about faculty, it's also it makes me feel more at ease to see more women professors in my classes, even if I'm one of the only girls in the class.
Mm, yes, yes. Representation does matter. I was reflecting back. I've heard this story, is recent as probably 2020, about young women being discouraged from pursuing a career in STEM. In fact, there was a woman that was going through a welding program at Ohio State University, and there was some task that she had to do. And the professor had actually said, but you're a girl, you don't have to do this, this part, right? This benevolent sexism. So I'd love to know maybe an example of how you have been either encouraged or discouraged in pursuing your degree in the STEM field. Sarah, let's start with you.
Yeah, so I feel like there's been a lot of encouragement. I personally haven't had any female professors, but all of my professors, they'll be really encouraging to the point where they just kind of throw you in there. They'll be like, "Here, push this button, see what that does." So I feel like there's a lot of support, not a lot of discouragement.
That's good. That's good. Erin, how about you?
So I will say that I've mainly been encouraged. I've never been strictly discouraged. What I will say, and it kind of ties back to your example, is I believe due to some inherent bias and stereotypes, and not only men, also women, some people don't think of women as the first option in doing a task. For example, actually welding. On my Formula SAE team, all the welders have been men, and it's nothing against them, but I don't think there's ever been a conscious thought of, hey, let's get a female welder. And I started to pick up welding, and I really enjoy it because I sew clothes in the past, and it's kind of just you're sewing pieces of metal together, so to say. So I think it's nothing conscious, but it's just something we need to work towards. Just discouraging that thought process.
Yeah, interrupting that bias is so important. Emma, what has your experience been like?
Personally, I've noticed that as I've grown older and gone through schooling from elementary to high school and into college, the encouragement for women to pursue STEM careers and even just putting it out there that that's an option, that's definitely increased over the past 20 or so years. But I still think it could be promoted more and more girls should attend seminars like this to see that there is a chance for you to have a career in STEM and to hear from other mentors and people in industry. It just kind of makes it more normalized, and I believe that it is trending toward more women are engineers, but still, I think there could be more done.
Yes, yes. You know, in our professional panel, we were talking about the importance of role models. You have to see it to be it. And I just want to thank the three of you so much for participating in this discussion today, because other young women are going to have that example of a role model, somebody to look up to and say, well, yes, if they can do it, I can do this too. And that leads me to the importance of networking and mentorship. So I'd love to hear from each of you. Have you had a mentor that stands out in your mind? And if so, give us an example of something that they did or something that they said that gave you this inspiration to pursue your goals. Erin, can we start with you on this one?
Yeah, so I think I've had many mentors in my life, but if we're going kind of towards the STEM area, I would say it would be my first female professor in STEM at university. She was my thermodynamics professor, and once the semester was wrapping up, I just talked to her after class, and I told her how grateful I was that she was there to be my first female professor, and she just gave me all this advice. She told me to apply for some research programs, offered me advice on my class schedule, and that was just it was super helpful because before that I was just kind of doing it on my own and thinking like I know how to do this, but to have someone that like works in the school, is faculty, give me some advice, it was very, very helpful.
How important, especially for a class like thermodynamics.
Absolutely.
Yes. Sarah, how about you? Can you think of a significant mentor and something they did or said?
Yeah, so I actually started thinking about when I started taking classes. It was my first AC class. The professor there, he is an engineer at DTE, and he does part-time classes at both University of Michigan and also at Schoolcraft. So he was saying that when he decided to go back to school, and he actually decided to go and get his master's degree, and his doctorate degree. And this was right after he found out that he was having his first child. So as he's going to school and as his daughter is graduating kindergarten, he actually got his doctorate degree at the same time. So he said that he had a picture of him and his daughter in his office, both holding their little diplomas. And I thought that was a really inspiring story. I thought it was really sweet.
Wow, I love that. What a great example
Yeah.
because, my whole career I was going to school along with working. And I think that was a great example for my son. But
Yeah.
also for other people in the workplace to know that you can continue your education. It is definitely possible to juggle with a family. So
Yeah.
thank you for that example. Emma, who stands out to you?
I've appreciated many mentors in my life, but one of the most significant was at my internship last summer. She was one of my team members, and she basically encouraged me to put myself out there and try new ways of solving things, looking at things, even if I wasn't comfortable with it. She encouraged me to improve my public speaking and communication, which was hard to start at the beginning, but I appreciated her kind of just giving me a little push and then supporting me along the way, giving me advice and tips. But I really appreciated that she wanted me to improve myself and put myself out there more.
Yes, mentors are so important. And, sometimes you outgrow a mentor, or sometimes it's not a good fit. So I would encourage everyone listening to continue networking, to find a mentor that you really resonate with, someone who is generous with their time, someone who provides that safe place for you and who pushes you, challenges you, like Emma just mentioned. I love that. So I can imagine each of you have maybe faced some challenges or barriers along the way. I'd love you to share an example of a challenge you faced and how you navigated that challenge. Sarah, can I start with you on this one? Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, so having like returning to college, that was a little bit challenging for me. You have to remember how to do calculus and geometry that you haven't done in like 10 years. So going into a physics 101 class, not having done any of that for a very long time, I kind of felt like, where do you start? Um, what are the first steps? Um, but I actually, through the school, there was um, a lot of things that were available to us. So tutoring was available in the at the library, so I took advantage of that. All of my professors were very generous with their time, so anytime I needed any support there, I would go to them. Um, so yeah, I um, that's the one thing that I love about community college is they have all of those things available to you because they're smaller classes. So I feel like returning to school and having to like catch up was a little daunting for me. But yeah, I just kind of leaned on the school and asked for help when I needed it.
Boy, I can relate to that one, Sarah. I went back and got my MBA at Michigan State in my mid 40s. And I was so nervous because I thought, how am I going to compete with all of these youngsters, right, who just came out of their undergrad degree? And like you, like I used to be good at math, but as I was in the economics courses and corporate finance, I was just like, oh my gosh, I
Yeah.
had forgotten so many things, but like you, I took advantage of the things the school offered, the tutoring and asking
Yeah.
for help. And it just made me so much stronger, having to work for it.
Yeah. You got to do the
Yeah.
work.
Yes, yes. Emma, how about you?
For me, one of the greatest challenges was trying to balance my life with my studies in school and then also adding in any extracurriculars that I wanted to pursue. So, to do this, I just had to give myself a lot of grace. I had to slow things down and I had to try things out and see if they would work. going to a couple club meetings, seeing if they could fit in with my schedule or not. And if not, then I would find one that aligned more and maybe later add in some more options. But I found that one of my greatest resources was the Career Center at Michigan State. They helped me a lot with balancing my schedule and applying for internships and getting my resume up to date. So I felt a little less kind of drowned in things to do. So because there were other students working there that had gone through the same thing. So I found that it was good to talk to other people who had just been through the same struggles and could help me figure out my own.
Yes. Yeah. Balance is important and it will be throughout your entire career. You can't just all be work. You've got to have some outside interests and activities. And, as you start to grow families, and yeah, the Career Center at MSU is wonderful. So I'm glad you were able to take advantage of that. Erin, what's your experience been like?
So I definitely agree with Emma. There was a very steep learning curve with beginning to go to school, to work, and to be part of extracurriculars. But I think it's just something you adapt to as you go along, and you have to make sure that you prevent burnout. Because I think a lot of people they believe that like once they get burned out, they're like, okay, this is fine. I can just take a rest for a day or two. But it's not. It's a lot more intensive than that. But aside from that, I think one of the challenges I faced was trying to secure my first internship. And the way that I actually did it was through joining extracurriculars. So that's something I would really recommend to any like undergrad or even graduate students that are struggling to find an internship. Just show companies that you have that hands-on experience or just otherwise technical experience.
Yes, yes. Let's touch on the importance of SAE for a moment. I'd love to hear from each of you on how SAE has helped you along the way, maybe inspired you, maybe the sense of community that you found, or participating in one of their great programs. Sarah, how about you? Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, I feel like there is a huge amount of support out there. Community college is, smaller classrooms. You don't get to see a lot of people, but having experienced this and just taking advantage of all of the opportunities that are available to me, it's just really nice seeing all the females that are part of the industry, all the females that will be part of the industry. So I look forward to seeing everybody's faces in the future.
Yes. Emma.
I think one of the most important parts about SAE is making connections with each other. I think in general in life, connections are one of the most important things you can have. So taking the chance to meet someone new, you can learn so much. You can make a really good friend. And I believe that SAE really facilitates that with other people in the engineering field.
Erin.
I owe SAE a lot through Formula SAE. I've met so many of my friends. I've learned so many things, and I've had just the wonderful opportunities to go to WCX, the conference that they had in Detroit. I was able to go to Michigan International Speedway for the Formula SAE competition last year. I'm hoping to go back again this year. Really, I think I owe SAE my internship right now, so it's been great.
Oh, I love that. Well, this has been phenomenal. I'd love to close with hearing from each of you. What do you want the young women to know who are watching, or maybe even their parents? What do you want the audience to walk away with today? Emma, can I start with you?
Sure. I think one of the most important things to walk away with is to remember to celebrate your small successes, no matter how small they are. And on the flip side of that, uplift others in your life because they are so important and they are trying just as hard as you. So make sure to celebrate yourself and others.
Beautiful. Thank you. Erin.
I think it's really important to know that it's not all going to be smooth sailing. You're going to have some classes that are going to have you studying quite late at night. But I think the satisfaction you get when you end up getting an A, or even maybe it's an A minus or a B, it really is worth it. And knowing that you're going to be in a career where you get to represent so many young women, I think just knowing that I can be a role model for young women and girls, it's worth a lot to me.
Yes, I love that. And Sarah, bring us home.
All right. So the one thing that I want people to walk away with is that it's never too late to pursue your dreams. Don't let anything stop you. And I just want people to not be afraid to ask for help if they need it.
I'm so glad that you said that. It's never too late to pursue your dreams. Thank you. I'm going to take that advice to heart today. Thank you. So Sarah, Emma, and Erin, thank you all so very much for inspiring the next generation of engineers.
Yes,
Yep.
thank
Thank
you
you for having us.
hosting us.
Thank you so much.